Don't forget to subscribe, like and comment. The Last Kingdom. 7 Kings Must Die ending explained. The final chapter of The Last Kingdom has concluded as we finally say our goodbyes to Uhtred of Bebbanburg, and the incredible Alexander Draymon. The climactic end to Uhtred's saga was rife with action, adventure, and plenty of deaths. But who lost their lives for the future of England? And did Uhtred live to see out his days as an old man in Bebbanburg? Let's find out. The Last Kingdom. 7 Kings Must Die is the sequel to the incredible historical fiction series, and Netflix original, The Last Kingdom. Martha Hillier wrote the screenplay adaptation for 7 Kings Must Die, which is based on the book Warlord, the 13th and final entry of Bernard Cornwell's Saxon stories. The team behind the series from Carnival Film and Television returned to produce the feature, with Matt Chaplin, Nigel Marchant, and Gareth Neame as producers. Martha Hillier and actor Alexander Draymon are the executive producers of the film. With the battlefield set, the climactic battle would seal the fate of England, and the British Isles forever would take place at the Battle of Brunanburh. Uhtred allied himself with King Aethelstan, and what remained of their forces would take on the combined forces of the kingdoms of Ireland, Orkney, Man, Shetland, Strathclyde, and Scotland. An awe-inspiring tactician and commander of the battlefield, Uhtred set up a defensive position at the base of the hill, which gave the advantage to Anlaf's forces. However, this was intentional, as by using King Aethelstan's presence on the battlefield would bait the enemy into attacking. By using a shield wall to defend themselves, Uhtred gave the order to begin walking back slowly to the tree line. Overeager, the enemy was lured into a trap as dozens of men would injure themselves by falling on spikes that were hidden amongst the grass. The trap wasn't enough to give Uhtred's forces the advantage but caused enough disarray to give them more time. However, in the advance Father Pearlig would be injured, leaving Uhtred to believe he had died in combat. Alfen's forces would plow into the shield wall, where the line would be held despite the overwhelming numbers. However, on the right flank where Aethelstan was engaged in combat with the Scots, they would begin hitting the shield wall with a swine wedge, a triangular formation that could pierce the line of a shield wall. With the enemy forces pushing hard on Aethelstan's flank, the shield wall barely held, but did the job of turning the line around to face the trees. On Uhtred's orders, Edmund would give the signal for the hiding cavalry amongst the trees to charge the enemy from behind, trapping the enemy between the shield wall and the cavalry. The tide of battle would swing in Uhtred's favor. With nowhere to run, many men, including several princes of the enemy, would fall in combat. King Aethelstan and Ingilmander were engaged in combat, fiercely fighting, which grabbed the attention of Uhtred. Concerned for the king's life, Uhtred would try to rush his way through the battlefield in his attempt to save him. However, be it age, or just letting his guard down for mere moments out of concern for the king, Uhtred was wounded mortally several times. Before passing out, Uhtred was able to witness King Aethelstan defeating Ingilmander, and the alive but wounded Father Pearlig. With their lines threatened due to their sons dying, all of the kings who had lost their heirs decided to retreat, leaving Anlaf with no army, and forcing him to return to Ireland. In the aftermath of the battle, Finland and Sitrick would find the gravely wounded Uhtred. Meanwhile, King Aethelstan would sentence Ingilmander to death for his treason. Returning to Bebbanburg, everyone was concerned for Uhtred's health as he lay recovering from the battle. In Uhtred's final moments, he would swear fealty to Aethelstan, making the latter the new king of Northumbria. As the king of Mercia, Wessex, East Anglia, and Northumbria, for the first time in its history England was unified under the banner of one king. However, Uhtred's oath came with one condition, that Aethelstan could never marry, and bear no children. So upon his death, the crown would go to his younger brother without challenge. Uhtred, son of Uhtred, would die of his wounds in his ancestral home of Bebbanburg, and thanks to his legendary deeds on and off the battlefield would be welcomed into the halls of Valhalla where his friends, adopted family, and other legendary Vikings were waiting. With one last voiceover from Finan, the camera pans out of the window to modern-day Bebbanburg Castle, now Bamborough Castle, where it still stands today. Don't forget to subscribe, like and comment.